Hi friends, welcome to all. In this video, we are going to solve Introduction to Network Final Packet Tracer Skills Assessment. A few things to keep in mind while completing this activity. Do not use the browser back button or close or reload any exam windows during the exam because you will be doing this in the netacad.com website. Do not close Packet Tracer when you are done. It will close automatically. Click the Submit Assessment button in the browser window to submit your work. These are some instructions they given before doing this activity. Here we can see assessment objective. We have 5 parts. Part 1, build the network. Then develop an IP addressing scheme. Then configure basic device settings. Configure security settings on router-A and switch-A. Configure the host and verify connectivity. Here instructions. In this assessment, we will configure the router-A router and switch-A switch. So that is the name they given for these devices. As we have done in the activities in this course, you will also connect two PCs using a switch and a router that are in the main wiring closet. You will subnet the 209.165.201.0/24 network to provide IPv4 addresses for two subnets that will support the required number of hosts. The larger subnet, that is LAN 1, requires 29 hosts, and the smaller subnet, that is LAN 2, requires 17 hosts. No subnet calculators may be used. Okay, these are the instructions they given here. We will go to part 1, build the network. Build the network according to the logical topology by placing the required equipment in the wiring closet equipment rack. So here we can see our topology. We have these devices, one router, then one switch, then two PCs. Then cable the network devices in the closet as shown in the topology diagram. Okay, then connect the host as shown in the topology diagram. Now here we can see those devices, router-A and switch-A. We will take these devices from this shelf to this rack. So here is router, we will add here. Then this is our switch, we will add here. And also here we can see host-A and host-B on this table. Now we need to connect these devices. First we will connect from this router-A to this switch-A. Here we can see that from R1 to S1. We have to use this interface G0/0/1 on router, then fast Ethernet 0/5 in this switch. We will connect from R1 to S1, and they are different devices. So here we can choose a copper straight through cable. Click on copper straight through. Then interface G0/0/1 on this router-A. So here we can see that gigabit Ethernet 0/0/1. Then on switch fast Ethernet 0/5. This is 3, this is 5. Keep the cursor and make sure that the correct port you selected, fast Ethernet 0/5. We can verify that, just keep the cursor on the cable, and here we can see source device router-A, source port is gigabit Ethernet 0/0/1, destination device is switch-A, then destination port fast Ethernet 0/5. So it's correct. Then we need to connect from S1 to PC-A. We have to connect to fast Ethernet 0/6. So here we will choose this copper straight through. Then from a switch dash A, FA0/6. So here it's little difficult to choose this port. So what we will do, press escape, then click on any of this device. For example, on router, click manage all cables on device. So now we can see all the cables are just managed, and now we will try to connect it. Click on copper straight through, and here we can see fast Ethernet 0/6. Yes, click on that. Then coming to PC-A, connect to fast Ethernet 0. Oh, it's not connected to a switch. Once more we will try to switch fast Ethernet 0/6. Now it's connected. This connectivity, we need to do it very carefully, and also you must verify it. Now here we can see from R1 to PC-B, we should connect to G0/0/0 in this router, then to this PC-B. They are same devices. So here we can choose copper crossover cable. Then on router dash A, we will choose this gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0 to this host dash B. We connected all the devices. Here we can see these devices are turned off. So click on this start button and switch on host dash A. Then switch on this router. Here we can see the power switch. Click on that. And there is no power button on this switch dash A. Coming to part 2, develop an IP addressing scheme. In this part of the assessment, we will develop an IP addressing scheme. We will subnet an IPv4 network to create 2 subnets with the required number of hosts. We will also subnet an IPv6 network. We will then assign the addresses according to the requirements below. Work with the following information. Here the given IPv4 network 209.165.201.0/24 and a required number of hosts in IPv4 LAN 1 29. So here we can see LAN 1. Then a required number of hosts in IPv4 LAN 2 is 17. Here we can see LAN 2. Record your subnet assignments according to the following requirements. Assign the first IPv4 address of each subnet to a router interface. So here we can see LAN 1 is hosted on router dash A G0/0/1 and LAN 2 is hosted on router dash A G0/0/0. Then assign the last IPv4 address of each subnet to the PC NIC. Then assign the second IPv4 address of LAN 1 to switch dash ASVI, that is a switch virtual interface. Here is our documentation. We can see addressing table requirements. Network address already given in the instruction. Then LAN 1 subnet host requirements is 29, LAN 2 subnet host requirements 17. Then a router dash A G0/0/1, we must assign the first host address in the LAN 1 subnet. Then to this interface G0/0/0, we must assign first host address in the LAN 2 subnet. Then in this switch dash A, second host address in the LAN 1 subnet. Then host A, last host address in the LAN 1 subnet. Then for the host B, last host address in the LAN 2 subnet. Now we will go to our subnet table. So here we can see the network. We have LAN 1 and LAN 2. Also given here the host requirement 29 for the LAN 1 and 17 for the LAN 2. So here we made the network address, first usable IP address, last usable IP address, broadcast address, then subnet to mask, also the prefix length. Here we can see for this LAN 1, we taken this address 209.165.201.0. Then first usable IP address, last usable IP address, broadcast address, also the subnet to mask. Then the next subnet, that is 209.165.201.32, is taken for network LAN 2. Then it's the first usable IP address, last usable IP address, broadcast address, subnet to mask, also its prefix. Here we have done the subnetting and updated our subnet table. Now we will go to the addressing table. Here we can see our addressing table is fully updated. Router A, two interfaces, G0/0/0 and G0/0/1. So we given the IP address and subnet to mask. Then we have one switch. So interface is VLAN 1. Here we used the second usable IP address from the LAN 1. Then subnet to mask and its a default gateway. Then host A and host B. Now we will go to part 3. Configure basic device settings. Network devices must be configured over a direct console connection. So here we must connect these two devices, our router and switch, to this PC using console. We will try to click on this router, and here we can see CLI option. Here we can configure it. Then in switch, here we can configure it. Otherwise, we need to choose this console cable. So it's preferred to connect with the console. Then here we will connect to console. This is auxiliary. Then here we can see console. Then in this PC we will connect to RS-232. Also we will connect this switch. In this switch, its console port is backside of this switch. So click on this, right click on this switch, and here we can see the option called inspect rear. So click on that inspect rear. Then click on this console cable, and here we can see that console option. Click on that console. Then here we can see RS-232. Now, if we need to configure this router -A, we need to go to host -A. Then we can see terminal. Then click on OK, and we can configure it using console. And this switch -A is connected to host -B. So if we need to configure this switch -B, switch -A, we need to go to host -B, then terminal, then click on OK, and we can configure the switch. And it's obviously depends where you connected the console. Right now, we can see configure basic settings. Step 1, configure basic settings. Disable DNS lookup on router -A and switch -A. Okay, we will go to this computer, terminal, OK, press enter, enable, configure terminal, no IP domain lookup. In the same way, we will do it in switch -A. Go to host -B, terminal, OK, enable, configure terminal, no IP domain lookup. Then configure router hostname using the name router -A. Then configure switch hostname using the name switch -A. So coming to router, hostname, router -A. Okay, then coming to a switch, host name switch dash a. Then configure an appropriate banner on router dash a and switch dash a. Banner MOTD. We will set any banner MOTD. Warning, only authorized users. Just I will copy these commands. Then go to a switch, paste here, press enter. Next is allow console logins with the password. This is the password. So we must give the same password for scoring purpose. So first of all, we will do it in the router. Line console 0, password C@NS PASSW, then this exclamation symbol. So just I will copy this, press enter, then login command. Coming to switch, line console 0, then here is the password, login. Coming to step 2, configure interfaces. Configure router dash a G0/0/0 and G0/0/1 interfaces using the addressing from the previous part of this assessment. Yes, so interface description, then IPv4 address, subnet to mask. Coming to the router, exit. Then first of all, we will configure the interface G0/0/0. Then we have to give its IP address. So already we made the addressing table. We can refer that table 209.165.201.33. Then subnet mask. Also, we will set the description. Connected to PC-B. Then we will go to the interface G0/0/1. And we did not give the no shutdown command. Just we can verify that here using this command do show IP interface brief. And we can see these two interfaces are already up. Gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0 and 0/0/1. Status up, protocol also up. Okay, perfect. So no need to give no shutdown command again. So now we are in this interface G0/0/1. We will set the IP address 209.165.201.1. Then subnet mask. Then press enter. Also, we will set the description. Connected to S1FS0/5. Once more, we will verify the configuration. End. Show IP interface brief. Perfect. Next is configure the switch-a VLAN 1 SVI interface using the addressing from the previous part of this assessment. Interface description, IPv4 address, subnet to mask. The switch should be reachable from devices on the other networks. That means we must configure the default gateway. We will go to this switch, click on host-b. We will go to interface VLAN 1. We will set the description. We can say SVI for management purpose. We can say SVI for management. Then set the IP address 209.165.201.2. Then subnet to mask. Okay, then activate it. No shutdown. Exit, and we need to set the default gateway. IP default gateway. Just I will copy this address, or you can type it 209.165.201.1. Next, we will go to part 4. Configure security settings on router-A and switch-A. Step 1. Configure enhanced password security. Configure no one should know as the encrypted privileged exit password. Configure terminal. So it's an encrypted privileged exit password. So you have to give enable secret. No one should know. Then press enter. Just I will copy this. Then paste here. Enable secret. Then encrypt all plain text passwords. Service password dash encryption. Coming to switch. Service password dash encryption. Next is set minimum password length to 10 on router-A. We will go to host-A, and here we have the command security. We'll put a question mark. Here we can see passwords. Minimum length. Again, I'll put a question mark. Here we can see min length. Min dash length. Then we must specify the length. It's a 10. Coming to step 2, configure SSH on router-A and switch-A. Configure netsec.com as the domain name. IP domain name netsec.com. Coming to switch, IP domain name netsec.com. Configure a local user netadmin with the encrypted password. Coming to the router, username, netadmin, secret, so make sure that you type it correctly. Just I will copy this, press enter. Coming to our switch, press enter. Then set login on VTY lines to use local database. Then configure the VTY lines to accept SSH access only. Then we must generate an RSA crypto key using 1024 bits modulus. So we will do these three things on both devices, router and switch. Coming to router first. So first of all, we will give a crypto key generate RSA, then press enter. Then modulus 1024. Okay, now we will go to line VTY 0215, login local, transport input SSH. Then we will go to our switch. Crypto key generate RSA 1024. Then we'll go to line VTY 0215, login local, transport input SSH. Step 3. Secure switch ports on switch-A. Shut down all unused ports on switch-A. Enter descriptions for all unused switch ports to indicate that they are intentionally shut down. Here in this switch-A, we used only two ports, that is FA0/5 and FA0/6. We will shut down all other ports. So coming to this switch, we'll go to interface as a range FA0/1 till 4 because 5 and 6 used. Then FA0/7 till 24. Also we have a G0/1-2. We will give the description. We can say unused ports. Then we should shut down all these ports. Shut down. Now coming to part 5, configure the host and verify connectivity. Configure both host with the IPv4 addresses that were assigned in part 2 of this assessment. Right. So first of all, we will configure this host-A. We will close this terminal and then we will go to IP configuration. Then IPv4 address, it's 209.165.201.30. Then sum to mask 224 here. Then default gateway, just I will copy this 201.1. Now coming to the next PC, host-B, close this terminal, then go to IP configuration. Then here we will give the IP address 209.165.201.62. Then we will change its to mask to 224. Then default gateway It's a 33. So just I will copy this, or you can type it 33. Here we can see our percentage shows only 98. So it's not 100 percentage. So we configured everything perfectly, but we can see it shows 98. Here let me remove this copper crossover. So click here in this and drop here. Then we'll try to connect this copper straight through from G0/0/0, okay, to this host dash B. Okay, we'll connect here also. Yes, so now we can see completion status shows 100%. So just to make sure that you connect from a router to this host dash B using copper straight through. Perfect. So in this video, we configured ITN final PT skills assessment, PTSA. Friends, now if you get any doubt or any suggestions regarding this activity, please comment below, or even you can contact our team. All the details are given in the description below. Stay tuned. We will meet again with the next video. Thank you.